that tradesman coming to your house is almost 100% breaking the law in one year. Hey guys, so I want this video to go out to the government authorities, to our legislators, to the people that make sure that this industry is running well. So I had a call from another one of our government authorities today from our different states, and it's something that I haven't been wanting to really review in the past, because people have said if you do something, you know, our company and myself will become a target for these authorities because they will feel as though we've spoken out against these organizations that are supposed to be looking after us. So what I've seen today is like in one given way. To the most simplest way, a person that's like a licensed tradesman, say they're licensed to be in Australia, where, you know, we used to have, you know, we were world renowned as Australian standard. You know, that was something that Australians were proud of. Australian standards for building, Australian standards for, or made in Australia for manufacturing, but a lot of that has gone. Now, if you look at the building industry, it's just heavy. The quality of work is just terrible. It's just the main contractors, the builders, are subcontracting to someone, subcontracting, just looking for the cheapest price. Is just a total havoc mess. And, you know, there has been lots of legislation to try to fix it, but it's not happening. Let's look at your average tradesman, and let me show you all the points that right now every single person that's coming to your house is breaking the law in one given way, and not even breaking the law. It's detrimental to your building, to your what you're paying for, really. And why am I bringing this up? It's very unfair for the companies that are doing the right thing and really doing, you know, everything that the law is asking them to do and doing right by the customer. They're the ones that are almost being targeted, versus the companies that are just hiding behind all the laws, not doing the right thing, cutting corners to cut costs, but still charging you the same price and pretending to be a proper organization to look after you in all ways. But it's really just very, what you're not getting what you pay for, which is pretty much a scam, you know. But it's really, let's look at every single point of a business. So if you have, when you first have a business, you have your, how you present yourself to the world. That's your advertising, you know? So your ads. So your ads as a licensed company, whether you're a builder, plumber, tradesman, has to have a license number on your ad. So if you look, open up the newspaper, open up the internet, there has to be a license number on that. First of all, if you're not doing that, you're not being transparent on who owns the company, who runs the company, what that company owns. It could be anybody everywhere. There's lots of consequences to you as a consumer if you don't know that. But if you open the paper, 9 out of 10 people on the websites, everywhere, every kind of ad doesn't actually have this. And the authorities are doing nothing about that. Then from the ads, you go down to your, say you've got your plumbers going to site, or your tradesman going to site, or the licensee going to, or the builder going to site. That person representing the company, at minimum, that representation, that salesperson or the plumber or whoever they are, or the working person, needs to be licensed. So, sorry, registered as a tradesman. So if they're not, it is pretty much anything they do is just not allowed to be done. So let's look at like most companies out there, nearly every person out there. So you as a consumer, and I want this video to go out to all our government authorities as well, to show you how much breaking of the system there is happening out there. So that person coming to your house, are they working under a licensed company? So you have, the company has to be licensed. So first of all, are they working under a licensed company? More than likely, no. So you have to be licensed. So if you open up that paper, that builder, or whatever it may be, first of all look at them is that license a valid license? Is that company working under a license? So if the owner of the company is not doesn't have a license, then they have to bring in someone that is an appointee. Does that make sense? So each company that is part of a licensed trade, a trade that's regulated heavily to make sure the quality is good, needs to have an appointee, a person representing a human being with a license representing that company that's signed up to that company. That's the first part. A lot of companies don't even have that. Then it comes down to the tradesman coming to site. So the person coming to meet you, the first person. Are they at minimum in a licensed trade need to be registered. So registered means they're qualified, they're educated, they've been signed off, they're allowed to be there and quote you on the work. And a lot of companies cut corners here. So they don't use licensed people, so there may not be enough electricians around. So they'll use someone that's just good at electrical, can talk about it, come to your house, let you know about it, but they're not allowed to be doing it. Even giving you advice. So you're standing there as a consumer going, oh great, I've got this licensed builder, I've got this licensed plumber, I've got this licensed person in front of me, but you have no idea that person is just a person. It's just a person that is not qualified in what they do. And if you were to say, hey, and I expected, I've been misled as a consumer. I've been told that this person that's supposedly being sent to me as a licensed, I presume when I read the ad, it said plumbers are coming to my house, but you got someone that was not a plumber at all. So that's happening. And then from there, the list goes on. Even if that person that comes to your house is registered or licensed and they've given you advice and the advice has been really great, every single company that we know of, that we've looked into, and that's hundreds of them, when the plumbers that come to work on site, they're the guys physically doing the work, they have to be at minimum registered. Registered means fully qualified, so they've done all their learnings, they've been signed off, they've done all their practical, and they've been signed off that they're allowed to be working by themselves. So it's like a doctor. A doctor has to go through their apprenticeship, go and work somewhere under supervision, and then become registered. So again, the person physically working must be registered. And in any licensed trade, so electrician, plumbing, all that kind of stuff. So almost all of these companies are using unregistered workers. They're just, because you as a consumer are not really checking, hey, how's it going? You're plumbing, you've done the quote, thank you, and you've got some people coming to your house to do it. Check their licensing. And I can guarantee you they're not going to have licensing, they may not be subcontractors, they may not have insurances. If they hurt themselves on site, you as a consumer have a duty of care to make sure that person is safe, that you've checked the company is registered, the company has all its insurances. If they get hurt on site and OHS and stuff come and go, you brought someone into your house that had no insurance, had no licensing, had no right to be here. You know, this is the standards that we have in Australia. It may be different to other countries, but this is what's supposed to be happening. Now, authorities are not enforcing it. And on top of that, our authorities, and our authorities and the news and the people, so the news, all they want is to, if they go and investigate these small companies, no one really cares. It's just the side little company that does a couple of jobs and no one really cares. All they investigate is these really large companies to make it a big deal and get lots of news feed. And government authorities are doing exactly the same thing. They're just going after the bigger companies to make, when the employees working in those companies will be like, look at what I did. I went and, there's a massive company, they were doing all these corrupt things and now I won against them, And, I deserve to be promoted, get a pay rise, look how good of a government authority we are, And so that's what I see. So, and then even if you keep going down the list, so in licensed trades, even in accounts, are they paying their taxes? No, it's all cash jobs. So the companies that are trying to do the right thing, so you've got cash jobs, C-A-S-H. You've got cash jobs. So you've got your dollars. They're hiding that money and taxation money so they don't have to pay tax. They just hide it completely, so no one's paying tax jobs. Then you have something called compliance. Compliance, a lot of consumers out there don't even know what a compliance is. So in any kind of licensed trade, you must have a compliance certificate. So if a roofer comes to your site and they do licensed work, at the end of it, they must hand you a compliance certificate that's saying that it's been done as per Australian standards. It gets sent from your government authority, and that's proof that it's been done up to standards. And that's the law. You must do it, and it's if you don't do it, the person doing it, that it can fine and even jail times. And because people's lives are in danger of what they're doing, people can get electrocuted, gas can blow up, all this kind of stuff. So there's compliance certs. No one's doing these compliance certs. All these companies, small, medium or large, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of them are not doing it. So most people coming to your house right now are not doing your compliance certificates. They're not paying any taxes because they're doing cash jobs, which the community and society loses out based on. That's not playing fair. The works are being done by cheap, unqualified labour and not telling you about it. The people giving you advice, they're not supposed to be giving you advice. Again, using cheap, unqualified labour, it's not helping you, and it's just the companies are hiding behind their company policy. A lot of companies don't even have licenses. They're just jumping in, cowboys, changing jobs. Warranties. If you look at every single company out there, what they do, hundreds and hundreds of little companies, they'll run for a little while, have their phone number ad, pretend like this awesome company, come to your house, and at the end of the day, what they do is they know jobs will be warranties, there will be issues in the future. Just change your ABN, change your company, close it down, start a new one. So when you go and try to claim your warranty if something's wrong, the company's gone. So all the companies that are trying to play fair, so you got your warranty. So all the companies out there that are trying to play fair, so they've got their licensee, they're people that have worked hard to make sure their licenses are intact, they do the right thing all the time, which costs a lot of time and money to do the right thing. You've got to go and fix up all your mistakes. The person quoting the work, there's a limited amount of people out there that are doing it, so their price is going to be higher. So other companies are cutting corners there. The work's being done by who knows what, and it's just, there is a shortage of, it's a worldwide phenomena, there's a shortage of labour. Why do you think that all these companies suddenly have plumbers and roofers and electricians and licensed people like that? They don't, it's all just lies. So, well, I'll do it for cash. Those companies are just hiding behind, they're not paying the taxes, they're not doing, so the companies doing the right thing are paying the taxes. They're sending the right expensive people, they're sending the right person, company licenses, compliance certificates which cost time, money, and to make sure that your company's livelihood relies on those compliance certs being done. Warranties, the biggest thing about human errors happen, mistakes happen, and warranties, all these companies are just relying on the fact of just changing the company, moving states, and not having to fulfill their warranty. So they come to your house saying, ma'am, sir, from the bottom of my heart, I'm that kind of guy that will make sure the warranties get fulfilled. It doesn't matter. And if they get injured or hurt or something, there's not an actual, who's going to do it then? You've got an emergency, plumbing issue, who's going to fix those warranties? So every step of the way, these businesses are cutting corners. And right now, every business I see out there, every business that we're seeing, is cutting these corners, and the government authorities are doing nothing about it. They're just picking on, companies like ours that are every step of the way trying to do the right thing. We are seen as, they come in, they're like the call I got today. They're looking at us, they're reviewing us. We're the ones doing the right thing, but for them, they see us as one of the big fish, the ones that they'd like to really, take back into the office. Go, hey, look at these guys. They're really doing hundreds and hundreds of jobs that are a big deal, and look, I put them into their place, in whatever way, whether that's, giving us a warning for doing this or whatever it may be. And we're the ones actually doing the right thing. We're paying our taxes, we've got the right licensing, and the list goes on. I'm trying to think what else is there. So you've got your point of sale, you've got your people in your call centers, that are taking calls 24 hours. Most companies are saying they're 24-hour services, but they're not. They can't answer their call at 1 a.m. in the morning. They can't get out there the next day. So really, they're saying that we're this nice company with this nice ID, but in reality, there's nothing behind it. So, and what are the points? So you've got your point of marketing, you've got your point of call centers, you've got your people going out, and then you've got so many things in those things. So when a plumber comes to your house, or an electrician, or whatever, there's so many types of electricians. There's people that do switchboards, which is, you know, a higher level than just a normal electrician. But when you call an electrician, you are thinking that every electrician is the same. No, they're not. But when you call them, the electrician's like, you know what, I've paid for this ad, I've got my employees, I've got the best I can do. You know what I'll do? Instead of losing this money, I'll just send a guy that's an electrician, but he's not totally qualified in that trade. Well, the companies, which I know very few except for us, are not doing that. We're sending people that are specifically qualified in your trade. There's 15 different kinds of plumbers. There's 13 different kinds of electricians. So when you're calling this random local guy or this company or this larger company, are they sending someone suitable for your job, or are they just sending someone that's like, you know what, we've paid for this, we've got the job coming in, we'll just send one of our plumbers and hope for the best? That's what they're all doing. When you're looking at that guy going, how much experience do you actually have with gas heater services? Like, we've had a guy at our place as well, same thing, had no idea, sent an apprentice, you know, broke every single law, and that's happening right in front of me as well. Not us, but it has happened in front of us. So, and what else is there? So there's the point of marketing. You've got your phone calls, you've got your plumbers going out, you've got your plumbers doing the work, or whatever the tradesman doing the work that is supposed to be licensed. Then you've got your warranties, then you've got your project management side of things. So with your project management side of things, so again, these companies, when the authorities that look after this, so there's an authority that looks after all the health and safety for all the companies. So they look at the big companies, they look at companies like us and go, you know what, let's go check out all their 15, 20 job sites a day. You know, all the little guys that are out there breaking the laws or 1,000 things they're doing in terms of occupational health and safety, no one's picking on them. Like, for us, we have to get all the permits. So we get all the government permits before we start the work, working on heights, working on this, working in a government area, make sure people are safe. One of our permits recently is taking us about 15 to 22 hours. I don't want to say the people's names, but people that work here know about that job right now. So just one job before we can even start is taking electrical government permits, it's taking council permits, it's taking water authority permits. So it's going to take about 22 hours to start this job just with permits. Who's literally doing that? We're doing it, but I know for a fact that if companies aren't doing the compliance work, which takes them 10 minutes, I know they're not doing the permits. They're all shortcutting. End of the day, what does a shortcut mean? Shortcut means that it's not being done as per Australian standards. If Australian standards aren't done, your insurance company does not cover you as a consumer. So when you're comparing a company, if they're not, and they're comparing prices, comparing company, are you really comparing the companies properly? And so again, companies that are doing the right thing, they're the ones that become more famous in community, in society, and then instead of the government helping them, the government authorities are actually using them as proving that they're worth keeping those authorities. So when a government authority goes, okay, I work here in the government authority, what will make me look good? What will get me a promotion if I take out this massive company? All right? And when the government authority that works for the government as a regulator goes, I need more money this year, I need funding, all that kind of stuff, they can say, look, this company here, there's thousands of jobs, and look at all the bad things, and we caught them out and we fined them $1 million. Yeah? So that's where the incentive is. The incentive is to take out those bigger companies who sometimes are doing the right thing. But all the hundreds of other small companies that are not on the radar are just cutting corners in every single step. And that's heaps and heaps of money. Like, think about a job. If you cut all those steps, obviously your job is going to be half the cost. You know, maybe less. You know what I mean? Maybe less. Like, you can do it for almost nothing. You've got none of these costs that the other companies that are doing it properly have. And you may say to me, I'm a consumer. Who cares? Who cares if I do it properly or not? If you don't do it up to Australian standards and your house burns down, it leaks, electrical damage, and they come out and say, hey, who did you get to your house to do this? And you've got no compliance certificate, you've got no proof that it was a licensed guy, you've got no company receipts, you've got no invoices, you did it cash. Companies like, so you, as the person letting someone into your house, you know someone's supposed to be licensed, you know these are the laws, you're living in Australia, so you can't pretend that you don't know these laws, you have a duty of care, and it's presumed that you know these laws, you have to know these laws, you can't claim that you didn't know it. and your house burned down, they're not going to cover you because you didn't do your duty of care as a consumer to who brought to your house. And the list goes on. Imagine the type of person that doesn't follow all these laws, cuts corners, all that kind of stuff. What kind of person are they? Are they the kind of person that's going to answer your phone call, do the right thing by you? If you have a dispute with them, are they going to be cooperative with you? I don't have to answer that question. You would know yourself. So I guess this all started from, I have been keeping this sort of to myself because I didn't want to ruffle too many feathers. I thought, you do the right thing, and you create and do everything properly, but not only, so we're doing everything properly and customers are not appreciative of it. Not only that, but the government authorities are actually even picking on us, So I want this video to go out to our government authorities, our consumer affairs, our building authorities, our DVVR, and so they can see that they need to go and do their real job, which is to go and investigate and clean up this industry and fix it once for all. Like, it's all just lies and deceit, and just every person coming to your house right now is cutting a corner of some kind, is breaking the law of some kind. And no matter if they're a big company, small company, whatever it is, remember, why am I saying that? If you're the owner of the business and you've been, you live off this, you've got 4 or 5 employees and you have a contract that you must fulfill, and 1 or 2 of your employees get sick or injured and you don't have a replacement, and there really isn't replacement employees right now when it comes to skilled tradesmen, what are you going to do? You'd be like, you know what, I could lose, my life contract here, I could lose millions of dollars in investment and I can't gain that back. So what will I do? I will just get someone that can still do the work but isn't qualified, isn't necessarily is not allowed to do it, but I'll get them to do it anyway. And that's what's happening in the industry, and every single corner you turn. So it's very few that have been doing it. We want lots of people to work with. We want great staff. We want great everybody, but we don't get them. So we are very strict with who we bring on. But the reason I know these things is because I'm talking to hundreds of companies. I'm talking, and my staff is going through each of their things and going through, and I know these things to be fact. And I wish this video, we have kept it secret again, not say bring this out loud, because it would bring a lot of heat onto us. It'll get a lot of hate from other companies. It'll get a lot of hate from the government authorities because we're sort of calling them out on this. And this video could get closed down from YouTube and cancelled from wherever. But we are going to send this and all these things to our government authorities and ask them, and that they're here for a reason, and to make sure that the game is fair for everyone. That if you're going to have all these huge costs for these companies, the other companies have to pay for it as well. So if a company says, if we charge someone $6,000 for a roof repair and someone else is doing for $4,500, and they're like, oh, the customer's like, that's so expensive, but have you considered these facts? And then the list keeps going on. So even after the money comes in, how is the accounting process? How is the credit card surcharges being paid? Who's paying all those things? And if you have a dispute, who handles the disputes in the company? If you have a dispute or an issue and you're talking to the tradesman that was on your site and it doesn't go well, do you have someone else you can talk to try to mediate the situation? We have all these things set up, but if you've got a tradesman that's been working all day and you've got a dispute and you ring him up, that conversation is not going to go great. You've just got that one person that you're relying on, that company, to be very logical. And that's a hard ask of one person. But if you have an organization with a complaints department, a resolutions department, a compliance department, all these departments, they really make a difference. A compliance department that's completely separate from the standard organization to make sure the laws are being followed is very important, because it stops corruption. It stops, like, maybe the sales guy will be like, you know what, just let that pass. Don't let it, it's all good, just let it pass, it's a great sale, So when the compliance is separate, there's someone checking up on everything, then the job's being done correctly. So I guess in summary, what I'd like is to have a fairer game for everybody. So if the laws are that way, and the laws are there to make our lives better, is the government authorities and the people that are supposed to be looking at us, are they looking after their interests, or are they looking after the consumer's interest and the business interest? And the consumers out there, we need to be a little bit more fairer and a bit more understanding on who are we hiring into our house. And yeah, and the companies out there that are doing the right thing, you should be rewarded for that. And the companies that are not doing the right thing, you need to really play fair and do the right thing and get your systems up to scratch and provide the customer what they're really paying for.